After a year of marriage to the cold, domineering CEO, he suddenly transformed into a clingy, attention-seeking drama king. During my live stream, he stood at the doorway holding a pillow. "Darling, you said the prince invites you to bed." I discreetly blocked the camera lens, but he pushed further. "Fine, no words needed, just a kiss then." When I refused, that very night he ended up in the hospital with heartache from not getting his kiss. For a year, our marriage with Xie Rongchuang had been politely distant, until he fell and hit his head. Ever since, his memory seems distorted. He believes he's madly in love with me, convinced he stole me from another man in a dramatic wedding rescue. Though absurd, I realized our original dynamic, stiff performances of affection during public appearances, harmed both our careers, so I decided to play along with his revised reality. The old Xie Rongchuang was composed. Now he's pure chaos. He insisted on cooking soup for me, burned his hand, and when the housekeeper offered bandages, he refused, until I glanced over. Instantly, he cried out, "Ow, it hurts so much. Am I dying?" When I didn't rush over, he sighed dramatically. "Too bad you'll never taste my special soup." Before he finished, I'd already opened my medical kit. "Flushed," he mumbled. "You don't have to be so thorough." I barely restrained myself from jabbing his mouth with a cotton swab. He became surprisingly down to earth. The former Xie hated noise. We'd never even gone to the cinema together. Now he demanded we see a movie in public. Against my protests, he snuck his hand into mine. "You never took me before. Why empty seats?" Reluctantly, I agreed, thinking we'd watch a rom-com. Instead, he picked a horror film, claiming it boosts marital bonding. Midway through, I understood. Every jump scare made him cling to me like a terrified puppy. When he pressed against me, I recoiled in shock. He sat up straight, looking wounded, clutching his shirt like a fragile victim. Unable to comfort him aloud, I wrapped my arm around his. He pouted, grabbed my hand back onto my lap, and sulked. Stubbornly, I kept hold, resting my head on his shoulder. By the credits, he sat frozen, eyes red as if bullied. Through gritted teeth, I explained. "I got startled. Didn't mean to push you away." He looked away. "Prove it," I snapped. "Next time I won't." His lips twitched, but he stayed put. "Fine, go home without me," I added casually. "There's a new bar nearby. Hot male models await." Before I finished, he shot up, glancing back repeatedly to ensure I followed. At home, he remained sulky. Days passed, delays piling up for my new drama's promotions. Soon, rumors would paint me as unprofessional. Halfway through a live stream, a fan commented, "Saw you Mr. Xie at the cinema today." Things heating up. Tricky. Our estrangement was public. Admitting warmth risked future humiliation. Denying it implied lying. Before I could dodge, Xie appeared at the doorframe with a pillow, grinning. "Say Prince invites you to bed, and I'll forgive you." "More like crazy fool," I muttered, catching himself. He corrected, "Prince, just say it." Blocking the mic camera, I obeyed once. He wanted more. "Kiss me or my heart won't sleep." The chat exploded. "OMG, he's flirty. They're so sweet. Do it already." Frantic, I cut off the stream and ordered him to bed. Minutes later, a faint voice whimpered, "Songning, my chest, it hurts." Thinking it another act, I ignored him, until a thud followed. We both screamed, rushing him to ER. Doctors confirmed, no physical issues, emotional stress. Back in the room, he wailed theatrically, "Where are you? Did you abandon me?" Mortified, I stormed in. He feigned weakness until I called his bluff, sheepishly lowering his hand. "Really was painful." Exasperated, I demanded, "What now? Did failing to get a kiss really cause this?" Blushing fiercely, he declared, "Today's refusal means tomorrow's betrayal. How dare you prioritize others over me?" Suppressing laughter, I noted mentally, "Must record this for blackmail later." Aloud, I conceded, "Your feelings matter most." Greedily, he pressed, "And my future kisses accepted?" My nod nearly choked me, trapped by his newfound manipulation. During his recovery, nurses warned, "Avoid stress, he collapses easily." Armed with this leverage, he exploited every moment. Walking corridors, he glued himself to my side, shoving me against walls. After tripping thrice, I dragged him back to the room. While he worked on his laptop, I scrolled social media, only to find paparazzi shots tagged "fake marriage expose." "These two hate each other? Looks fake," fans replied. "Anyone watching her live stream knows, they're totally faking dislike." Exactly, President Xie even begged for a kiss. Their relationship looks super solid to me. Yeah, it does seem real, but I still don't buy it. When they attend events together, they never ride in the same car. And every single month there's a rumor about them divorcing. How is that good? Don't be a skeptic, sis. I watched the entire 2-hour live stream without blinking once, and their chemistry was off the charts. President Xie even made Song say, "Prince, please get into bed." I swear on my life he really said it. But then President Xie suddenly fainted, and the stream cut off. No one knows why. As soon as that comment appeared, everyone started guessing what had caused Xie Rongchuan to collapse. The topic shot up the hot search list. Some people even called me to ask about his condition, and before hanging up they'd whisper, "So what did you two fight about that he literally passed out from anger? How did they know he'd fainted from anger?" I ended the call and opened Weibo to trace the rumor source. After scrolling only a few posts, I found the culprit, Xie Rongchuan himself. His reply was short, "Got mad and fainted." The screen filled with question marks, drowning out his words. My vision went black. "Xie Rongchuan, what on earth are you doing?" He was busy typing, not even looking up. "I'm not done replying. Wait a sec." 1 minute later, I saw his new post. TLDR, I fainted after she refused my kiss. Health's fine, discharging soon. Thanks for caring. He tossed the phone aside and looked at me. What were you about to say? I stared at the comments calling Xie Rongchuan my loyal lapdog and tried to persuade him. Stop posting random stuff and acting like we're inseparable. You'll regret it later. What if you wake up tomorrow back in your ice-cold CEO mode? Everything you're doing now will be Exhibit A. He frowned, clearly disagreeing. Why would I regret it? Our relationship is great. I'm not lying. Before I could answer, a voice call came in. The caller squealed, "President Jiang, viewers are flooding the live stream to ask for marriage details. Traffic's exploding and our stock is selling like crazy." I shot to my feet. After the data report, the caller suggested, "How about you and President Xie keep this sweet vibe going a bit longer?" I glanced at Xie Rongchuan, curiosity written all over his face, lowered the volume, and walked outside. I stayed silent, but the caller kept listing the benefits until I wavered. After all, no one says no to money. Besides, in Xie Rongchuan's current memory we really are a loving couple, so technically I'm not deceiving him. I hung up, spent 10 minutes psyching myself up at the door, then pushed it open. Xie Rongchuan was staring at me with puppy dog eyes. I pretended not to notice, sat beside him and ventured, "Xie Rongchuan, could you pretend we're super close for a while? Once you're fully recovered, you can go back to the old you." He refused instantly. "No, why should I pretend?" His speed left me speechless. Just as I tried to change the subject, he ranted, "Our relationship is already great, why make me fake it? You think feelings can be acted? Would a couple who aren't close make breakfast together every day? Would a distant pair travel together all the time?" He started inventing evidence. I cut him off. "So that's a yes?" He nodded, then corrected me, "Not pretend we are great." I didn't bother arguing and tore off a sheet of paper. "Write a guarantee. Everything you do now is voluntary, and after you regain your memory you can't deny this period or accuse me of taking advantage." He signed readily, even stamped a thumbprint. As I tucked the paper away he asked pitifully, Song, why do you think we're not in love?" My hands paused. I brushed him off, "Because you never said it to my face. So no matter how loving you act now, I need to hear it from the real you later." He rubbed his chin thoughtfully. A few minutes later he told me to check my phone. Every one of his social accounts now showed, "I love you Jiang Song," and he kept popping up beside me every few minutes to say it aloud. Eventually I pressed a finger to his lips. "Enough, Xie Rongchuan. More and it's annoying." He finally shut up, still flashing heart hands at me. Our lovey-dovey plan worked so well that on his discharge day someone invited us to a cocktail party, supposedly to celebrate his recovery, but really to see if the rumors were true. After all, our old fake perfect couple reputation had been memed across the internet. Noticing my worry, Xie Rongchuan smoothed my hair. "Relax. That lot just wants gossip. I'll handle them." I laughed at how blunt he was and straightened his bow tie in return. "Deal." Arm in arm, we stepped inside. Immediately a woman greeted us with a sugary smile. "Heard you two are lovebirds again, come let's chat." She tugged my arm to lead me away. Xie Rongchuan followed without a word, quietly lacing his fingers through mine. His clinginess as we entered the side hall drew every eye. Someone cracked first. "President Xie's so attached now, hard to picture the vicious divorce rumors." I frowned. I recognized her. Fan Wei, heiress of the rival fan group. Our sudden marriage had overshadowed her movie premiere and ever since she de-sniped at every chance. Half the plastic couple headlines had been her paid posts. I smiled. "Just a little tiff, that's all. It's already in the past, nothing major." Fan Wei let out a scoff. "A tiff so small it landed President Xie in the hospital? And now you two have to come out and play lovey-dovey. How exhausting that must be." tea. She refused to let it drop, determined to prove we were faking affection. Xie Rongchuan's brows drew together. He couldn't hold back. What exactly are we pretending? You act so much you assume everyone else is acting too? Pick and choose the headlines you like. Why don't you? I already said. I fainted because she wouldn't let me steal a kiss. If our relationship were bad, would I get that worked up over a kiss? Just because we stole your spotlight for a single day? You've spent a whole year spreading rumors we're divorcing. If you're that desperate for attention, I'll buy you a month of trending topics. Happy? He fired off sentence after sentence. Fan Wei stood there, stunned, unable to squeeze out a comeback. With everyone's eyes on her, she stamped her foot, cheeks flaming. Who needs your lousy heat? Keep bragging. I'll be waiting for the day it all falls apart. My heart gave a sudden lurch. Xie Rongchuan let out a cold laugh. Wait away, and when that day never comes, tell your great-grandson to pass the news on at your grave. Fan Wei was shaking with rage, but she couldn't think of another retort. She spun on her stilettos and stalked off, wobbling so much she could barely walk straight. Xie Rongchuan shot me a proud grin. See, told you I'd get rid of them fast. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This wasn't getting rid of anyone. He'd strafed them with artillery. Once Fan Wei left, the other guests dropped the awkward topic and crowded around to ask after Xie Rongchuan's health. As long as no one questioned our marriage, he could smile at anyone. The moment someone wished us a lifetime of happiness, he beamed like a sunflower and politely wished them the same. When the banquet ended, Xie Rongchuan led me out of the hotel, still holding my hand. Apart from that annoying Fan Wei, everyone else was really polite. Next time we can invite them to our place. And those who gave us blessings, we should prepare little thank you gifts. He even started listing who'd said what, adorably earnest. I took the initiative and laced my fingers tighter as we walked down the steps. Fine, go home and think hard about what gifts to pick. He glanced at our joined hands, the corners of his mouth stretching practically to his ears. Because of our performance that night, and the hot searches Xie Rongchuan bought, the whole circle began gossiping that our relationship had truly improved, which meant Mrs. Xie called the very next day, citing that Rongchuan can't take proper care of you. She ordered us to move back to the ancestral house for a while. I agreed at once. Xie Rongchuan, however, seemed violently opposed. First excuse, the old house is too big. I'd have to climb too many stairs. Not good for recovery. Mrs. Xie replied sweetly, shall I buy you a little scooter? He went silent, tried again. Too many people there. I've developed social anxiety. I almost turned into a choking Psyduck. Social anxiety? Xie Rongchuan is a social terrorist. He was scrabbling for any excuse short of, I'll have nightmares if I go home. Mrs. Xie lost patience and issued an ultimatum. If you won't come, stay by yourself. Song Song is coming back. Before she finished, he changed his tune. We'll be there in 10 minutes. The moment the call ended, he started pacing like a trapped tiger. Wife, can we claim the car broke down on the road? I folded clothes into the suitcase without mercy. Mom will send a driver, and we can always hail a cab. He shut up, paced another 5 minutes, then blurted, let's tell her I suddenly have a fever? I paused, puzzled. Xie Rongchuan and his family have always been close. We used to visit twice a week when work was light. Now he was acting like a kid who didn't want to go to school. I tried to soothe him. Relax. I won't tell Mom you fainted from anger. She won't tease you. He remained visibly anxious. At the door, he suddenly dropped the suitcase, clutched his stomach and bolted for the bathroom. Sudden stomach ache. Wait for me. Half an hour later, his weak voice drifted out. I really don't feel well. Tell Mom we'll come another day. I moved the luggage aside, knocked on the door. If you're that sick, let's head straight to the hospital. Silence. Finally, he murmured, fine, but once we're back, can you speak less with Big Brother? Big Brother? We hadn't seen him in ages. Why bring him up now? Before I could ask, the driver arrived to carry our bags. No time left. I knocked again and hustled him out. The whole ride he was distracted. I poked his shoulder. I promise, okay? I barely knew the eldest Xie. Conversation would be minimal anyway. Only then did his expression lighten. The car stopped. Eldest brother came out first. Xie Rongchuan immediately seized my hand, interlaced, fingers locked. Big brother lifted a brow. Living the married life, I see. Xie Rongchuan kept a straight face. Thanks, big brother. You should hurry and bring sister-in-law home too. I tugged his hand to warn him not to spout nonsense. Everyone here loves to tease. The last thing I wanted was future blackmail material, but my tug only made him misinterpret. His eyes reddened. You promised at home. Your word means nothing. He started sulking right in front of big brother. Embarrassed, I pulled again. I really need the bathroom. carry on you too. We greeted Mrs. Xie, then went to our room. It was already late. Xie Rongchuan trailed behind, still sulking. You swore you wouldn't even look at Big Brother, liar. I lost my patience. Stand out here as long as you like. I snapped and shut the door. I figured he'd cool off. But after my shower, when I opened the door, he was sitting on the floor hugging a pillow, looking pitiful. Seeing me, he apologized first, then explained. Back then the arranged marriage was actually with Big Brother. I liked you, so I used some tricks to make mom and dad switch to me. You were furious for ages. I always figured you must have really loved him. I was speechless. I'd thrown a tantrum over Big Brother? Utter fiction. I tried probing directly, but he clammed up. Switching tactics, I coaxed. We're married now. I have the right to know the truth, right? The word married flipped a switch. He organized his thoughts and began slowly. The engagement was originally Big Brother's. I wanted you, so I pulled strings to swap in my name. You fought me over it for months. I figured you must have liked him a lot. I was dumbfounded. Xie Rongchuan suddenly turned to me. So you really don't like Big Brother at all now, right? Still stunned, I nodded. Visibly relieved, he hugged the pillow and stood. Good. Then it's settled. Let's sleep. I thought the drama was over. Next morning, he insisted I go jogging with him. I waved him off without opening my eyes. Spiritual support sent. Run without me. I was awake. The word jog made me instantly asleep. He bent down relentless. I finally gave in. Barely 50 meters in, he steered me behind a fountain. Fresh air here. I frowned. What are you scheming now? He pointed. I followed his finger. Big Brother stood not far away, chatting with a woman looking quite friendly. I saw red. Xie Rongchuan, are you out of your mind? I spun and marched back inside. No wonder the exercise hater had dragged me out. He'd staged this scene to make me give up on his brother. I was so angry I couldn't speak. He chased me upstairs, saw me yanking clothes from the closet, and panicked. It's not what you think. Mom just planted your favorite flowers there and asked me to show you early. I slammed the suitcase shut. Save it. I tuned out his explanations, suitcase in hand, and headed straight downstairs. Halfway down, I ran into Mrs. Xie. She took one look at the luggage and her voice trembled. You two had a fight? Don't run off. Talk to me. I'll smack him for you. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. I couldn't exactly say. Your son's brain is malfunctioning right now, so if I tell you what he did, he'll never live it down later. So I fudged an excuse. Mom, I've got a last-minute business trip, just a couple of days. Rongchuan's still recovering, so I told him not to come. Before she could answer, I lifted the suitcase again. Behind me, Xie Rongchuan tried to follow, but Mrs. Xie caught him by the ear and started interrogating him on the spot. I ignored the commotion, booked a same-day flight to the neighboring city, and, still fuming, blacklisted Xie Rongchuan on WeChat. His avatar alone made my blood pressure spike. I'd barely landed when the divorce rumors took off. They'd used the paparazzi photo of me storming out of the Xie mansion with my suitcase. The article dissected every pixel of my livid expression, speculating I'd been thrown out and that the alliance between our families was finished. I rubbed my temples. If I'd known the paparazzi were camping outside, I'd have taken the back gate. It's all that big idiot's fault. I muttered under my breath. A voice answered from directly behind me. You misunderstood me, and now you're cursing me? I nearly jumped out of my skin. For half a second I felt guilty for backstabbing gossip. Then I whirled around, righteous again. So what if I curse you? Even an idiot wouldn't pull the stunt you did. He trailed after me, frantic. That really wasn't my intention. Big Brother wasn't even home last night. How could I know he'd show up there this morning? My steps faltered. He had a point. Last night at dinner, Mrs. Xie had started her usual marriage nagging. Big Brother had rolled his eyes and left for some friends' gathering. He hadn't come home all night. Seeing me slow down, Xie Rongchuan shoved his phone at me. Look, security footage. One glance and I realized I'd jumped to conclusions. But admitting that out loud would cost me face. Instead, I launched into a lecture, ticking points off on my fingers. We only met after we were married. When we decided to get married, your brother was still overseas. Where exactly was I supposed to have fallen in love with him? I've never been into online romance. Xie Rongchuan frowned, but the original engagement was with him. I'm sure of that. He started to reconstruct the timeline. I cut him off. We'd never even met. Your entire theory is imaginary. He scratched the back of his neck, mortified. Looks like it is. Then he coughed awkwardly. I huffed. Next time you decide to imagine things, could you ask me first? He nodded vigorously. After a long silence, he worked up the courage to lace our fingers together. So, can we go home? I glanced at his anxious face and didn't pull away. Fine, let's buy Tickets. 2 hours later, Mrs. Xie stared at us, hand in hand, suitcase rolling behind, as if we'd sprouted second heads. She chose her words carefully. The family isn't poor, but we're not that rich either. You can't splurge on same-day round trips for fun. At least stay and sightsee a day or two. We hung our heads like scolded puppies. Big brother, already briefed by Mrs. Xie, teased. No wonder you've been glaring at me. You thought I was competition? Xie Rongchuan tried to disappear under the table. Finally, he squeaked. I'm mentally impaired right now, doesn't count. He was still stewing when we went upstairs. Even if I embellished parts, the engagement was originally his. I'm sure of it. I got cocky and blurted. Of course it was him, until I pulled a tiny string or two. Emergency brake. Oops, too much. He zeroed in on me. I looked everywhere except at him. He sighed theatrically. Someone lectured me this afternoon about communication, and now she's hiding things again. Alas, the guilt trip worked. I cleared my throat. Okay, fine, same as you thought. The engagement was his, but I liked you more, so I nudged things. Big brother didn't mind at all. Xie Rongchuan's lips curved. Then he schooled his expression into solemnity. I flipped the tables. Your turn. You said you used a little trick because you liked me. What exactly did you do? He tried to look nonchalant. Secret crush. What else? The focal act was adorable. I couldn't resist popping up on my toes and kissing him. His eyes darkened instantly. He scooped me up and headed for the bedroom. Perfect. I have follow-up questions. All night long. Later, every time he asked how long I'd liked him, I answered with his own line. Saw your face, developed a crush. What else could it be? His kisses fell like rain. Just before I drifted off, I heard him whisper, over and over, you said you'd wait for me to say I love you myself. Too sleepy to speak, I answered in my heart. Me too.